Why should you be thinking about Japan and why now? I suppose it's a really interesting question because Japan's a very seasonal country. And whilst there are so many different times of year that you might be interested in traveling to Japan, there are very different times of year where you'd need to plan that trip. I think one of the biggest things moving forwards for Japan as a destination is all the change that's going to come from the Rugby World Cup, the Olympics, which are both happening in the next 18 months, which is a really exciting time for Japan. I mean, a lot of development has actually happened over the last 5 years because of the number of tourists and the increase that's been. But even more so now over the next 2 years, lots of development in terms of English infrastructure, accommodation, which is really exciting. But also I think from our perspective and the way Audley works is that we obviously have much more scope to keep you away from that very developed route, which over the next 2 years is going to become more developed and probably a little bit more beaten. But it's really important, I think, from a client's perspective to know that you're seeing the true Japan. And I think that's what we really try and get to the heart of. As a department here, our Japan team is probably one of the most experienced with probably about 20 to 30 years of in-country living, which is quite different, but I think that represents how difficult Japan is and how different it is as a destination. So for us particularly, it's really exciting. And I think where we try really hard to get to grips with those genuine experiences and those kind of cultural experiences that bring you closer to the people, that's what we're really trying to push over these next 2 years when it may seem that, well, how can Japan not be so crazy busy with all of these people looking to travel? That's really not the case. And that's why, for us, it's a really great time and why, again, you probably need to be ahead of those other people that suddenly hear about these events and then decide to go. If you take the time to plan and plan it properly, you can get a much better trip.